and welcome to Good Grief, the podcast dedicated to demystifying and destigmatizing grief with compassion and humor. I'm Nikki. I'm an end-of-life doula and a grief coach in Columbus, Ohio. And today I have another special guest episode. I had a very long and beautiful conversation with Tony Lynch. As usual, I will put links in the description, but Tony has a podcast on YouTube called Grief, Let's Talk About It, and has started a nonprofit called Memories of Us. Tony specializes in men's grief. He is a men's grief coach. And I was so excited to talk to him because I am not a man, and I will not say I understand what it's like to be a man, but I do understand that men have a lot of stigma around grieving. And there's a lot of societal norms on men and grief. And he and I both firmly believe we need to break those and give men a safe space to express their grief. And that is what Tony has started. And I am just so excited for you to hear all about him and his story. Before we dive into that, as always, if you would like to see the video of my conversation with Tony, or if you just want to support me, you can do so at patreon.com/NikkiTheDeathDoula. For as little as $1 a month, you can get affirmations in your email, special Q&As, and for higher tiers, you'll get a shout out on the podcast. You'll get early access to this podcast, and yeah, all sorts of great stuff. And you'll be helping me out, which is a bonus because I need help. Anyway, but enough of that. You're not here to listen to me beg you for money. You're here to listen to my really great conversation with Tony Lynch. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Tony Lynch. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. I have another amazing guest. I'm so excited to talk to the wonderful, amazing Tony Lynch. So, Tony, I would like for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Nikki. My name is Tony Lynch. I am the founder of Memories of Us, which I am a men's grief coach. So I help men who have, like myself, struggled with grief, with loss, and provide space so we can support each other and also learn skills so we can start to heal, talk, and be supported by each other.
That's awesome. So I'm just going to dive right in with this. I love that you are a men's grief coach. And these are conversations I've had with my husband. He lost his mom suddenly in 2015. And we've discussed how times it does not feel like there's a good space for men to openly grieve. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. And that comes from experience too, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I totally agree. You can ask almost 90% of men, if there's anything out there that was there when they lost someone, they're not, a lot of times they'll tell you no. And that's where when I started this, I realized that gap. Because after going through my own personal grief and loss, my grieving process looked different. It was way different, right? And I didn't understand it, but I do realize that in the moment where I almost took my life, there was something that happened in me, and I went, you know what, I better get support. That was my first thought. You know what I'm saying? I better get support because if I don't, the next time I do this, I'm going to be successful. But my mind was already, I knew I needed to learn some things. I just didn't know what I needed to learn. So, coming back, I started looking. And I started finding things like Grief Share, and all of these other bereavement support groups and things like that. And I would read, and it say for men, women, children. Men, women, and children, all are welcome. And I went to a couple of them, and I realized that there was a lot of women and children and no men. So out of curiosity, I asked, hey, where are all the men at? Oh, we used to have some that come. They don't come anymore. And I sat back, and after a couple groups and stuff, I just started looking, and I was going, I know why they don't come. And someone asked me, they was like, well, why don't men come? I was like, because of the simple fact of you have women around here. Men aren't going to talk around women. Why is that? Well, we feel is if we make ourselves vulnerable around in the presence of women, we now negate our valuableness.
Sure.
What I mean by that, men often are valued on what we provide,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're protectors and providers. If we cannot fill those roles effectively,
Mm-hmm.
we look into women's eyes and think to ourselves, I have just now lost value to you because now you're going to look at me as less than.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot be around you and be vulnerable because I need you to realize that I'm a suitable mate.
Right.
Regardless if we have a significant other or not. And then on top of that, when you combine more women in the same when you combine more men in the same facility as women, it becomes a competition. You
Mm-hmm.
see, that's what men do. It's instinctively.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be more masculine than you because I'm around these women. I need them to know that I'm a great provider. So I need to compete
Yeah.
with you for a spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we eliminate that process and just go, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot
Yeah.
go in there and be vulnerable around them.
Mm-hmm.
But now where I started with Memories of Us, I created that space. And when men started to come in, they realized that they was in a room full of men that had gone through something similar,
Yeah.
if not worse. And
Mm.
so they were able to open up and talk to one another because for one, if I have any inclination that you could take what I'm using, what I'm saying and use it against me, I'm going to close down. But if you
Mm-hmm.
put me in a room full of other men that can relate to what I'm going through,
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're not going to take what I'm going through and use it against me because I can do the same to you, which
Mm.
allows, and as crazy as it sounds, it allows for open dialect, open
Mm-hmm.
conversation,
Yeah.
open for support, right? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And then we become like women. We talk. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we talk from the biker dudes down to the game bangers. You know what I'm saying? We talk. Nom, 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 nom. Man, if y'all nom, 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 nom. Man, shoot, what did I create here? Right? It's a beautiful thing because afterwards, you know, what I'm
Yeah.
saying there's this um unspoken brotherhood of grief that
Mm-hmm.
you understand that if you call on this man,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to show up
Yeah.
and he's going to be there with you.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what you want to do, whether it's fishing, going to play pool or whatever, going for a walk, going for a run, going to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
you know that that person right there,
Mm-hmm.
he got you, right? He understands why he's there with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the purpose of forming Members of Us, was to do exactly that. And I've been walking that path now for just under 4 years now.
That's awesome. I love that you have that space, first of all. I hate that we need things like this, and I hate that men feel that way. Um, like when my husband lost his mom, I was obviously there for him, and I was like, grieve all you want, I'm here. But I also understand that he can't just do that in front of anybody, because
Mm-hmm.
there's that stigma with it. Like you were just
Mm-hmm.
talking about, there's a stigma that men have to be they can't have that vulnerability about them, which like to me, yes, you can. I don't care. If you're a man and you can be vulnerable to me, I'm not gonna think any less of you, but the stigma's still there, you know?
Understood. Now, it's not really the stigma, it's the teachings. So although you say, hey, do it all you want,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a handful of women out there that will say that, right? But
Right.
now, when it comes down to the way that men are taught from the time that we're children, depending on the
Mm-hmm.
age that you're talking to, you will have anywhere from 40 something to 50 some years of being told to man up.
Yeah.
So just because
Yeah.
we have one person in one moment to say, no, do whatever you want, you
Yeah.
think we really go to look at that and
Yeah.
trust those words?
Yeah.
Because you have to think about all the underlying things that have been done that
Mm.
we've had to suppress. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The trauma, the
Mm-hmm.
abuse, sometimes the molestations,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? The mistreatment in relationships, you know, the drugs, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That we use to mask what we're going through because we're constantly being told that we
Yeah.
ain't about nothing, that we are not valuable unless we provide something.
Mm-hmm.
See, the one thing that men have started to realize, and this is where all of these are compiled, women, children, and animals are valued more than men in any sort of relationship. And so when we have that understanding, we tend to not want to open up
Mm-hmm.
because if we don't want to lose our spot in the pecking order,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to we don't want to be alone in this world.
Yeah.
So we do what we have to do in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can make it look with the mask as if this is how we're living.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes so normal for what other people see that no one asks questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we learn how to maneuver through this world.
Yeah. Ugh. So tell me a little bit about your grief journey. Like what brought you to where you are today?
Wow, that's a
That's
long
a
one,
big one.
you
That's a big
know.
question.
But
I know.
no, but it's I'm truly open with it. So I
Yeah.
often tell people I've been my grief journey started when I was 6, right?
Okay.
At the age of 6, I was molested by my neighbor's son. Um, his mother and my mother were best of friends. And that's what it started, you know. And when that happened, I was thrown into a world to where I had to learn how to survive, but to understand that there was people that was capable of doing really bad things to other people. And when that happened, I vowed to myself, no one's ever going to hurt me again. I stayed true to it, you know. Stabbed him in the stomach, left the knife in there, and told him, go ahead, scream. Because now no one believed me when I tried to tell them, if they come in here and see this, you're going to have to explain something.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you explain it, my family's going to kill you.
Wow.
He never said anything. And I walked away and I told him, I said, you'll never touch me ever again. You're not going to
Wow.
touch me. If you look in my way, you're not going to touch my sister. Even if you look in my way, I'm a, I'm going to do something bad to you.
Yeah.
I said, but you'll never touch me again. And from that point on, I said, no one, absolutely no one's ever going to hurt me again. And so
Wow.
on one side, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. On one side, I'm my mama's boy, right? She don't know anything that just happened. She did, I'm a straight A student. I'm my sister's brother, right? I'm a big brother. I'm her protector.
Mm-hmm.
And and on the other side, I became a drug dealer. Um, I became this angry, violent kid
Mm-hmm.
that no one that I was so slick with it that I would do stuff and no one knew that I did it.
Hmm.
Because my mother would have whooped my butt. She
Okay.
would have whooped my butt, right? You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I was like, on one side, I was like, I can get him. I just got to keep her from finding out.
Oh my.
So I would
Okay.
do things, you know what I'm saying? I would catch some of these dudes that I didn't like in locker rooms, or you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, we was out on the streets playing or something, pound them upside the head. Right? Who you gonna go tell? You ain't telling nobody that I just whipped you. Gonna let this little skinny boy whip you? Ha! Go ahead. I dare you to. Right? You ain't gonna go tell. So I had that going for me, right?
Okay.
Selling drugs and everything, selling guns and all these different things. And I go home, I got my pants pulled up, right? Straight A student in school, almost on the roll. And my mother was like, baby, how you doing? You want to go do this? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You need me to go to grandma's house? Yes, ma'am. I'll go do that too. I was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, sir, yes,
Okay.
sir. Right? You know what I'm saying? Whatever she needed, hey, you need the house clean? I got you. She turned her back. Oh, I'm out there. I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, you're
For the
sneaky
longest
then.
time. My
Sneaky,
mom did not
sneaky.
know. Yeah, I was, but see, I had to, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because again, I was thrown in the world where people were capable of doing bad things to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no exception, right? It's already been done to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if an individual would do that to a child, I better learn how to survive. Because if not, these predators are going to get me.
Mhm.
So now I have to become a bigger predator
Wow.
in order to survive in this world,
Hmm.
right? So I went through all of that. Age of 15, I left home, went to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
for 2 years.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Job Corps, right? I'm saying, had a blast, I'm saying, definitely had a blast. And after that 2 years, I moved to Colorado, 1992. And life came back and said, hey, you know how you just had that 2 year run where you was having fun and everything? Yeah, I'm looking at no more. Not gonna happen. Here's what's about to happen. You're gonna have to survive now. And I did.
Wow.
Got re-involved back into the gangs. And this time I just went deep.
Hmm.
I went deep, like there was nothing that you can tell me that didn't have a gang slang or anything like
Hmm.
that. I was deep. I knew the knowledge that I had was just crazy, right? And the rules and regulations when it came down to the gang lifestyle and being on the street, yeah, I got it written over. I got it written all on me, right? I carried that with me. And life came back and popped me in the mouth again, right? 1994, I went to prison for 5 years for a crime I never committed.
Oh my
And people often
God.
go, well, that had to be traumatic. I go, yes and no. They were like, well, what do you mean? Well, they didn't catch me for what I did, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
slap me
Yeah.
on the wrist, right? You know what I'm saying? So from 1994 to 1995, I went to prison. So out of that 5 years, 2 years out of that, I spent in solitary confinement.
Oh my
This time in my
God.
life, it was quiet,
Oh,
right? It
okay.
was quiet. What? Books, yes, this is me. Like,
Oh,
I'm not trying to go back out to gym pop. Put me in solitary confinement. I'm okay with that. They used to come by. You want to go back there? Nope, 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 nope,
oh
nope.
my
You sure?
goodness.
Yep, yep, yep. Leave me in here. They're like, hold on.
Wow.
You in solitary confinement? I'm like, yes. Like, dude, you in solid? Yes. It's quiet.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Bring the book cart around. Let me get my books.
Well, I imagine after all the chaos of everything leading up to that, the solitary, like the quietness would be kind of a relief almost. Because it sounds
Well,
like you had a lot of tumultuous time there.
that and to be honest with you, I hated being around people.
Hmm.
I hated being around people
Hmm.
because I used to watch people do bad things. And when I seen people do bad things, I did bad things to them,
Okay.
and it was just like at some point you just tired,
Hmm.
right? You just go, I don't want to be around nobody because I'm tired of living this sort of lifestyle. And so I get out in 1999. Now, mind you, when I went in, there was a war that I started. So when I got out in 1999, the people I started the war with found me.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So after 5 years, you would think to yourself, when you get out, it's gonna be okay, right? Um, it wasn't like that. Uh, I was shot 22 times.
Um,
Yeah.
what?
Oh yeah, they got me pretty good. Sad part about it is that they let me live. And I was mad. Look, I wasn't even mad that they shot me. I really
Okay.
wasn't. I wasn't
Okay.
even mad that they shot me. I tell everybody, I probably deserved it, okay, for the things that I was doing, right? I probably deserved it. But
Okay.
you just don't shoot me and let me walk away. Now that I'm down, that I'm still living, there's some things I gotta do. Well, now I gotta come and get you. That's just the bottom line. Now I got the damn this thing's gonna trickle on over. So I
Hmm.
ended up I ended up going home after everything and taking a shower, changing my clothes. I called up a couple of buddies. It's like, oh man, oh, we heard what happened. Where you at? I said, I'm at home. I'm at home. They're just like, all right, we're on our way. I sat on the couch and I was um oh, matter of fact, I was smoking weed at the time. So I had this big old blunt. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit up here and hit this blunt, right? And I woke up in the hospital. with my buddies all around me. And I'm like, what y'all doing here? And they
Yeah.
were like, man, you're in the hospital. And I look down, all I got is plugs all in me. I'm like, oh, now I remember what happened. They're like, man, what's going on? I said, they took my clothes, huh? Yeah, but we got your clothes, man. Like, give me my clothes, man.
Mhm.
And I get my clothes. They're like, what you gonna do? I said, I'm about to go over here. I'm about to destroy their whole neighborhood. They said, what? I said, I'm about to destroy their whole neighborhood. No one gets to walk away from this one.
Wow.
They made this mistake. I see, but that's who I was, though, right? You know,
Right.
and so I did. I went to war with them for 3 months.
Oh my
They
gosh.
got to a point to where they called a truce with me. Now,
Mhm.
no one else is with me while I'm doing this because everybody that I'm running with, all the so-called homies in the hood and things like that, they thought I
Mhm.
was crazy. They was
Yeah.
like, every time they turned around, I'll be back. I'm going over here. And I just let loose, right? And for
Mhm.
3 months, I made sure that no one went to sleep. Oh
Wow.
no, you're not going to sleep. No, let me come by your house and your lights are off. I'm gonna make
Wow.
sure that you wake up, right? I'm about to shoot up your whole house. That's the mentality that you have to have when
Yeah.
you live the lifestyle of a game banger.
Right.
And I say that, not being proud or anything, but to bring awareness. This is what goes on when in the streets like this. It wasn't like that all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? We had good times, but a lot of times we were at war with one another.
Yeah.
People that look just like me. You know what I'm saying? And if we wasn't in people that looked just like me, we was getting into it with the Aryan Brotherhood.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we was getting into it with the Hispanics, the Latin Kings, you know what I'm saying, the GKIs, all sorts. So it's an all around free for all. No one's safe.
Mhm.
And sometimes you have to be the monster in the story because there's plenty of monsters out there. And sometimes you have to be able to be the monster in the story that survives
Yeah.
by any means necessary.
Right.
And that's the road that you go down.
Mhm.
So now moving forward, I get out of it. Um, I finally get tired. I didn't do it. I've been doing this 24 years. I don't want to do
Mhm.
it no more. I'm tired.
That's so
I've been
long.
shot, stabbed, prison, all these different things. I've been homeless. I'd already been homeless a few times, but this time I leave the gangs and they say, well, Tony, you can't come back. We At first they were like, well, there's only one way out. I give them my gun. I said, go ahead and take it. Do it. Do it. I'm not afraid
Mhm.
to die. No, what do you mean I'm afraid to die? No, do it. Here you go. Here's my gun. Matter of fact, there's one in the chamber. There's a hollow point. Put it right here. Because if I get up, if I survive, I'm coming to get you. We already know this. These are the rules.
Mhm.
Don't let me survive. Or you let me walk away. Because if you do kill me, it's what's coming behind me that you have to worry about.
Right.
Right? The people that I'm associated with, when they find out that y'all did this, they're coming to get you. So we can do this one way or another. Go ahead and end it. Let me go. They let me go. Great decision. What came next? It's a true nightmare.
Oh no.
I left there and I became homeless, like bad homeless. 2.5 years of this one. Uh, I couldn't go back to the hood anymore. I had to walk away from everything. I got nothing, nothing. And I'm not going to go robbing no one else. I'm not going to go selling drugs anymore. So I had to take this butt whipping.
Mhm.
I was sleeping in dumpsters. I was eating out of
Oh
trash cans.
God.
I was breaking the back of people's cars to have a place to sleep.
Oh my
You
God.
know, oh my God. It was it was pretty gnarly. It was a great adventure. There was times I was going, I think 6 months into it, there was times I was going, 5, 6 days without eating,
Mm.
um, going 2, 3 months without taking a shower or a bath, right? Rare in the elements.
Mhm.
I was out there. I was out there. Um, 2000, 2002. Uh, no, the end of 2001. No, end of 2002. I'm sorry. End of 2002. I end up. I was in the middle of a blizzard, and all I have on is a t-shirt. Right? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no clothes.
Oh my
I got
God.
nothing.
Oh my
I
God.
got long hair that's been matted, and you know what I'm saying. It was bad. It was so bad, and I remember I was downtown Denver, and I was sleeping I was under a bridge with a few other homeless people. This is the fun part, right? Out of all of that,
Okay.
right? I can still find humor in this, right? So,
Okay.
I'm sitting down there with a few other homeless people, and we got this big old metal barrel that we done got wood, and we just stuff it in there. We got a fire going under there. It's like some stuff out of the movie, right? You know what I'm saying? It was like some stuff out of the movie.
Okay.
Uh, and there's a few other people underneath the bridge trying to get cold, trying to stay warm. Now, mind you, there's a blizzard going on. There's a blizzard going on. Now, you have to be in a bad situation when the homeless dude that you down there with has to give you a jacket, say, hey, young man, you need this.
Oh.
You need this. It's cold out here, man.
Oh.
Let's get this fire going. We got the
Mhm.
fire going. He gave me his jacket. I'm over there. Now we're drinking some wild turkey, right? You know what I'm saying? Trying to beat the cold off. And we end up flying. He's talking to me, right? I took offense to a lot of stuff that he said. He said, young man, why are you out here with us? We know why we out here, but you young. What you out here for? I was, who you talking to? Like, this is what I'm thinking. Who you talking to? Homeless man. I'm out here homeless with you, but you ask me why you out here? I'm asking you why you out here, right? But he started speaking over me, and he made me think about some things. Um, I just didn't have any purpose or direction. I really didn't. I turned around and he's like, oh man, go ahead, finish the bottle off. I'm like, all right. So I'm laying by the barrel, but I'm laying in the crevice of the corner for the bridge to keep the wind from blowing on me, keep the snow off me, try to stay warm a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, and somehow, some way, the middle of the night, something called me, and I woke up. Now, mind you, still blizzarding out, right? You know what I'm saying? The sky is this crazy pinkish, grayish color, snow blowing all over the place, wind blowing. I mean, there's probably about, at that time, I think it was probably about maybe 2, 3 feet of snow
Mhm.
on the ground. And I get up and I'm looking around, and something said, get up. So I'm thinking there's somebody talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's
Mhm.
something else going on, right? No, everybody's passed out,
Okay.
curled up, trying to stay warm. I'm the only one up. Fire's still going. What is going on here? Something, I'm like, okay, I'm up. Come on out. And the voice said, walk this way. Which way? Right? So I'm turning around and finally I get to a point and says, stop, walk this way. And I stopped and I started walking. Now, mind you, I still have on the t-shirt, but I ain't feeling no cold.
Hmm.
And it's still blizzarding outside, and it's still cold as all get out outside. And I'm just walking, not feeling no cold. I even left the jacket at the bridge for the guy. And I'm walking for it seems like hours and hours and hours. I get to a place, and the voice says, stop. This is where it gets really interesting, right? Because this
Okay.
leads into that, this is all part of that grief journey, right?
Mhm.
Because you gotta make sure that it don't miss no parts there, you know what I'm saying? Because I gotta talk about the alcoholism. But I get to this place, I turn around and there's a Safeway over here. I'm like thinking to myself, like, okay. And the voice just stopped. So I was like, well, I'm here. I'm gonna go over to the Safeway. I'm gonna sit right here. As I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, it's starting to get cold now. It's starting to get cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I look over, I'm sitting at this little on the seat, and I'm looking over. There's a building off on the left-hand side, and I start to see people come out the trees, like other homeless people. And they're going into this building. And I'm thinking to
Mm-hmm.
myself, like, what is this? Is it like a soup kitchen? Maybe I can grab something to eat. Because I hadn't eaten in like 4 or 5 days now. Maybe it's a temporary shelter. Maybe I can take a shower or something, maybe I can
Mm-hmm.
get clean or something. No, it was one better. It was a day labor place, right?
Oh, okay.
So I end up, yeah, go there and people are lined up and I'm like, they got hot coffee. I'm like, ooh, they got coffee. Ooh, I'm
Mm.
gonna grab some coffee, throw some sugar up in there, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm hungry, but you know what I'm saying? I can't, there ain't nothing I can do. And I hadn't showered in a long time. So I'm really funky, right? You know what I'm saying? I hadn't eaten in a
Yeah.
couple of days. So there was a
Oh,
couple of
no.
donuts in there. Now I ain't trying to take all the donuts. I'm just trying to get, no, well, no, I was trying to take all the donuts. I ain't gonna lie about that. you know. So I go up and I ask the people behind the counter. I said, "Hey, what is this?" It was like, "Oh, this is labor ready." What is labor ready? Oh, this is a place where you can go out and you can work the day and get paid today. And how much do you pay a day? I'm not worried about it. Now I just want some money in my pocket, so maybe
Mm-hmm.
I can grab something to eat, right? And I was like, "Well, can I get an application?" So I get an application. I fill it out. I sit back and I'm watching everybody. I'm drinking my coffee. I got about 3 donuts in my hand. I got sugar all over my place, glazed lips, all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad scene for Tony at that time. A good bad scene, right? Bad scene. So I'm sitting there and probably about 30 minutes go by, my name get called. Tony. I get up, they send me out on the job. I make $48 that day. It's more than I had in a long time,
Yeah.
a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I wonder how much a room costs. Right? A hotel room. Because right across the street from the daily was a hotel, a couple of hotels, and there was a little bar over there. I got $48. So I go over and I asked the guy, hey, how much is the room for the night? I didn't have it. I had enough, but it's like, well, how much is it for a week? And he told me how much it was for a week. And I said, okay, if I go to work the rest of this week, I can afford to pay for a week in a room. So what do? I said, well, I'm gonna take this $8. So I said, I have $48. I'm gonna take this $8 and I'm gonna go grab me something to eat. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna figure out the rest of it. I'm already homeless. It ain't like I'm going anywhere, right? But at least I have something that I can work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I worked with it, right? You know what I'm saying? And I got lucky. Some days I was making 48, other days I was making 56. You know what I'm saying? So in combination, now I'm able to eat, and save up a little money. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually able to get a room for a week. And I got that room for a week and I had a little extra money saved over. So I went and bought me some clothes, some shit. And I was able to take a bath and all kinds of things, man. And um, best feeling in the world, be able to sleep in a bed, right? I didn't know what
Yeah.
that felt like for the longest time.
Oh my
They
God.
used to say like forever, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I started getting myself together. Then one day I got lucky again, right? I go out, go to the place, and they go, "Hey, Tony, we got a special job for you." What do you mean special job? Well, this one pays $119 a day, and it's for the next 3 to 6 months. Are you interested? Well, yeah, yeah. What is it doing? Oh, you doing construction. They building the post office.
Okay.
Not a problem. I'm on it, right? So good to get on that one, right? Now things are going really good for me, right? Things are going really good. I got a little
Mm-hmm.
money in my pocket, rooms being
Yeah.
paid for.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
me some clothes, got some new shoes, socks, underwear. I'm able to eat on a regular basis now, right? Well, this is where I mess up again,
Uh-oh.
right? This is where I mess up again. I start drinking.
Okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with having a beer. There's a bar right there. I'm gonna go give me a pitcher. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna grab me a shot, maybe play some pool, grab something to eat. Yeah. I found out then that I'm an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I got hooked up with some other people just like me. Tony, come live with us, man. We got a room. Come live with us. What they didn't tell me, there was 6 other people living there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all drinking.
Mm.
Needless to say, I lost everything again.
Oh, wow.
I lost everything.
Ah.
And when it came down to it, no one was there to save me.
Mhm.
All these people they got in, no, they was gone too. I lost everything. And I had to figure it out again. So I was kind of moving around. I met my now good friend Ron. He introduced me to his brother. His brother said, "Hey, come stay here. We'll help you get up on your feet." Thinking to myself, like, what do you want from me?
Mhm.
I don't want nothing. I just want to help you get up on your feet. You sure? You ain't gonna try to do nothing crazy because if you do, I'm gonna hurt you. No,
Mhm.
no, no. See, I didn't realize that there was people out here that wasn't trying to hurt me, right? Maybe their intentions was
Mhm.
good. I didn't realize that. I've been mistreated so long that this was the normal for me,
Mhm.
right? Don't trust anyone because you don't know what they're going to do. So I always have to stay on the defensive and I always have to keep moving and I always have to stay alone. If I'm alone, you can't get me. If I'm constantly moving, you can't get me. I don't need you getting attached to me. I don't want to get attached to you. So it's a lonely road.
Mhm.
And I ended up doing that. They helped me get back up on my feet. I ended up getting a really good job. Um, Still an alcoholic. And I'm just progressively getting worse. And no one's saying anything because I'm helping them pay bills. I'm helping put food in the refrigerator, and all of these different things. And life moved me around again. And I'm going to jail for a year out in Arizona for trafficking. And I didn't even do that one either. I was just in the car. I was like, how is this possible? Right. So I go to jail for a year. I get out, make my way back to Colorado. Now I'm gonna have to figure it all out again.
Mhm.
So I moved from one place to another, just kind of maneuvered around, things like that. Finally, I make it back to the labor ready that I started off at, right? And so I go out on the job and I meet this one dude and he's like, "Well, what's your situation, man? Tell me about it." You know what I'm saying? Because you seem like a really cool dude. I tell him my situation. He goes, "Man, I want to introduce you to my buddy James, right? You know what I'm saying? And just talk to him. Let him know what's going on." So I meet my best friend James at the time. And I talk with him. He's like, "Hey man, I got a room in the garage. You know what I'm saying? It's not big, but it's a room in the garage, 275 a month." What? 275 a month, and I can have a roof on top of my head? Bet, I got you. 275 a month. And then 3 months go by. Now, mind you, me and James, we drink. We both alcoholics, right? So this is a good factor to have in there. We're both alcoholics. So we working during the week. The weekends we going out to the clubs and the bars. You know what I'm saying? The womanizing was just it was crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, oh yeah. So there was a lot of women. I was like, yay,
Oh
let's
my
go.
gosh.
So then I meet another guy. He goes, "Hey man, I'm not sure your situation here, but I just wanted to talk to you about something. I have a house down here, 1.5 bedroom, nice yard, dog run, 500 a month. Are you interested? 500 a month. Well, yeah." He goes, "Man, come on by. We fill out the lease and everything. You know, tell me what you think. I'll work with you on your deposit." I just landed a good job doing making bricks and tiles for for
Mhm.
for a company, right? So I used to run the setting machine and stuff like that. Not a bad gig. So I go down there and now finally I'm like, I have a roof over the top of my head. I actually have a key to the door, and it's mine. And it's mine. For the first time in my life, I know what it's like to have a place, right? And surely, probably about 6 months of me living there, I mellowed out. Now I'm still drinking, but I'm not going out. I'm bringing the
Mm-hmm.
alcohol home. I'm sitting at home and I'm drinking. You know what I'm saying? I got everything I need. I got a bed. I got the TV. I got food in the fridge so I can cook. I'm not messing with nobody,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I'm saying? But I am having a great time of just being. And I meet my son's mother. She was supposed to be a one night stand, but she never went anywhere. So I know, right? She's like, I'm gonna have to edit that out, Tony.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
But no, honestly, that's what it was, right? She was supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be in a one night stand, and she just never went anywhere. So I guess, we started dating shortly after she got pregnant, and she goes, "Hey, I'm about to buy this condo in Loveland. You should move in there with me. We're
Mm-hmm.
about to have this kid." I thought about it for a minute. I was like, I wasn't even trying to be with you. I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just one night stand. That was the no, right? And then my friends was like, man, she about to have your kid. You might want to go to. I was like, she was supposed to be in a one night stand, not pregnant,
Yeah.
right? Here we are. Okay, so I did what I was supposed to do. I moved in. I moved up here with her. We bought the condo. Um, I stopped drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's where it gets interesting. We Our son is born December 18th, 2006. Jake, beautiful baby boy, beautiful, beautiful kid. And also found out that his mother was a narcissist.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I ran from that situation to this situation. We have a kid now. Then she tells me, I don't want you to come around anymore. We're going to have to go to court. I said, okay. So he takes me to court. And so for 2.5 years after that, my son was probably about 6 months old when this started. So for the next 2.5 years, she got me evicted out of my place. She got me fired from 4 jobs. She got 2 of my vehicles repossessed. And the courts decided to drag me through the mud. So needless to say, back to surviving again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But lo and behold, life said, I got you. End
Mm-hmm.
up getting into a new place. And at the same time, all the things that I've been trying to tell them that she was doing, they finally caught her. Finally caught her. And so they removed the kids from her house, took them and put them in a foster care place or caregivers place. And I thought they finally gave me my son. I said, all right, this is what it's about. Then I thought about it. I was like, are you crazy, Tony? You don't know nothing about being a father, let alone being a man. What? Now you gonna try to take on this responsibility with this little boy?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you mess him up? Don't you? I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. Then what you gonna do? I said, well, I need someone to teach me. So I started going to men's groups. Um, I didn't learn a whole lot from, they were good people, don't get me wrong, but I
Mm-hmm.
had to turn to something different. I turned to God and I said, look, I don't know what to do. I don't have any examples of what a good man looks like, except for you. I don't know or have any examples of what a father looks like, except for you. Can you teach me, guide me, so I can be the best possible version for him? And he did. I switched my whole life around. Me and my son, we were like this. We were like this, man. And and I understood the value of play dates, right? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Chuck E. Cheese, right? You know what I'm saying? We were
Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese and having movie day with your son and everything. Cause so take him to the movies and we would go to Applebee's. That was our thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Every week we go to Applebee's, and of course his eyes was bigger than his stomach. Daddy, I want this. I'm like, baby, you're not gonna eat all of that. Yeah, I am, Dad. Then he gets to go, oh my God, I think I ordered too much. Like, no, you think so? Yeah. Me and that little dude, man, like, there's not a day that didn't go by where he wasn't with me. Every day. Pick him, go to school, pick him up from school, homework, playgrounds. We climbed trees together. We'd laugh. We had a lot of talks. Um, and we just had this bond that I think this is what it's meant to be when parents have children. They should have
Mhm.
that bond. This, in my opinion,
Mhm.
and everything was going good. October 31st, 2015, is he was overdosed. His pharmacist mixed his medication very wrong, overdosed my son. So instead of trick or treating, we was in the hospital for 3 days. Major, massive overdose too, man. Massive.
Mhm.
It was so crazy. Um, and he actually was in the papers and everything. He was archived in the hospital. And the doctors was they never treated him for what he was overdosed for. I was so upset. And then he
Yeah.
come to us and say, well, he's not going to make it. Then he gave us a bull crap diagnosis. Regardless, they already said that he wasn't going to make it. So, I'm thinking to myself, my son passes away, I'm destroying this whole floor of this hospital. No one's walking away. This is the side of me that you don't.
Yeah.
I'm destroying this place. You took for once in my life, I'm doing something good, and you can not even do what you're supposed to do. Oh no, I'll get if I got to lose mine, you don't get to go home. You might as well call your family, tell them that you're not coming.
Mhm.
Wait, ain't nobody go home, right? We this is where we're gonna be. Um, Lo and behold, that's a hurtful feeling as
Yeah.
if you're hopeless, helpless.
Yeah.
He pulls himself out that following Monday. He comes out of it like a champ. Don't remember anything that has happened, but he
Mhm.
comes out of it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, hmm, right? So now the doctor comes in, the weekend, the regular doctor comes in. He goes, he's telling them, he goes, oh yeah, this is what this is. This is a regular clone. This is a massive clone down on the overdose, but this is what you should have gave them. And I looked at the nurse like, isn't that what we tried to tell you? So then they do the lab result. So we get the lab result. They come back with the bottle and said, you need to take this out of the hospital right now. So we had to take it out of the hospital. And they showed us, and it was like massive. Like he was supposed to have been getting 0.005% of clonidine per ml.
Mhm.
And when they did the lab result, it was 1,000 milligrams per ml. Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't supposed to make it.
God.
He wasn't supposed to make it,
Oh
right?
my God.
And how he came out of it, couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. That kid was something amazing. So then for like the next 9 months, he's doing good. He's really doing good. He's not on the medication no more. Is now we back to being father and son.
Mhm.
We back on our routine. We back on that thing, on our jam thing. Um, June 14th of 2016, he got sick after playing. He was with me. He was playing with all his friends, swimming, all kinds of things. Um, June 15th, he was admitted in the hospital because his kidneys was failure. No one could
Oh,
figure out why. Early June 16th, he passed away from unknown causes.
oh my God.
So I watched my son take his last breath. That that was by far the worst thing I've ever gone through. Being
Yeah.
a homeless, being an alcoholic. I wouldn't wish any of these things on no one. But losing my Bubba, now
Yeah.
that one right there was different. It
Mhm.
hit different, you
Sure.
know. And then shortly after that, um, starting was trying to figure it out. His mother decided to be the narcissist that she was. She started taking jabs at me. We had a lawsuit. She got me taken off the lawsuit. All kinds of things. This woman went right back. I was like, I thought we were supposed to work together. She was like, screw you. We ain't
Yeah.
gonna work together. It's all about me now. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Um, Shortly after that, 2 years, 1 month after that, my mother passed away. Now I got no parents. My younger brother is gone. My son is gone. I started thinking to myself, like, I'm an orphan. I'm an orphan. Me and my little sister are orphans in the world now. Right. And I thought I made it out to be a joke, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because as much as I made it out to be a joke, it wasn't a joke. Because shortly after that, I went through a grieving process. I had been going through the grieving process after my son passed away. I just didn't know it. When my mother, when my mother passed away, it tilted the scales, and I fell into that realm, that really, really deep, heavy grief, right?
Mhm.
And I started making bad decisions. I moved out of the place I was at, moved out to South Dakota. I had just started my personal training company, which was doing really good. Within 3 months, I lost everything, and had to come back here to Colorado with my tail in between my legs. I had to bounce around on people's couches, all kinds of things. It just got
Mhm.
to a point I was just so tired. I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was fighting for anymore.
Mm.
And shortly after that, for 2.5 months, I planned out my suicide. Would have been real successful too. I had the thing in detail planned out what I was going to do.
Mhm.
Drive out to the middle of the desert, just be done. By the time anybody would have found me, there would have been nothing left. Scavengers, mountain lions, whatever, would have taken what they wanted. They would have enjoyed the free meal, right?
Mhm.
Circle of life. Give yourself back. I'm good. What happened was that 2 seconds before I was about to put that bullet in my brain, divine intervention, something called my name yet again.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, I'm in the middle of the desert. There's nobody out here.
Mhm.
Just me, the stars, pitch black. So I turn on the light on my vehicle, and I throw the gun in the front part of the vehicle, and I'm standing there looking around. I'm like, what in the world's going on? And that voice said, "Hey, now that I have your attention, I got something for you." I said, "What do you want with me? Like, what do you want? I have no one. I'm an orphan. I'm the oldest and the last of my bloodline. That means when I'm done, there's no one else. Let's be done with this. My whole bloodline has been wiped out. I don't want to do this. This pain, this burden. No, I don't want to do this." And the voice said, "Yeah, I understand that. But let me show you something." And he showed me back on my life. And during this time where I'm going through this process of learning about my life, I'm going through a backwards motion in my life. till I got to the point to where everything started. It's that 6-year-old boy. And the voice said, hug that boy, embrace that boy, comfort him, because he needs you. He needs you to make him feel comfortable so he can begin to walk through this life. When I didn't understand what it was doing, it was helping me start the process of healing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that, right? But I had to pinpoint where it started. The 6-year-old boy who had been molested. Then I had to go with that 6-year-old boy through adult teenage years, my 20s, my 30s, and from becoming an inmate to a homeless dude to becoming an alcoholic. I had to walk those different stages. And when I finally came to, I was like, oh, shoot. And the voice said, now forgive yourself. What? Forgive yourself. Okay, I did. Now let's go home. I got something waiting for you. And I drove back to Colorado. I get back here and I'm thinking to myself, I'm talking to my buddy. I was like, man, I don't know what happened. Right? I don't know what happened, but this is what happened. And I about 9 months go by, I'm fighting with this thing. And I said, I'm going to start a nonprofit. Nobody said, for what? What you going to do? I said, we'll start a nonprofit. I'm going to help men like myself. And he's like, all right, let's do it. I said, yeah, that's what we'll do. And now, mind you, I didn't know how to do that neither.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, I literally had to learn. And I went through this thing. I started making phone calls. And then I started acting as if I had already had this nonprofit. Now, mind you, I'm an introvert. I've been alone for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to talking to people. And then I met one person that led to another person. I started going to these events. I started going to these seminars and these conferences and all the kinds, and I'm talking to people, and I'm just like, huh, yeah. And then finally I meet someone and they go, hey, let's do this. I go, yeah, let's do that. Right. Let's do that. And so I ended up getting an office space in one area up here. And that's where everything started. My grief and that journey of grief has been consistently the best mentor and teacher I've ever had. So throughout all of that chaos and trauma, I found me. I found my gift. And I've been dedicated to helping other people, helping other men like myself since then.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, it was the best decision I ever made to surrender to it.
I bet. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What a story. Just everything you've overcome, but not just to overcome it, but to thrive and to build something that benefits others. So many people could go through what you've been through and either never come out of it, drown themselves in alcohol or drugs just until they die, or maybe come out of it, but just then not do anything with that. And I feel like it's such a gift for people like us when we experience loss in our lives to not just experience it and learn from it, but to help other people too, to find that need and to fill it. Thank you.
Understand. Now here's the thing, like, okay, the people who go through it, not everybody's going to do the same thing that we do.
That's true.
Right. Some people are going to go off and do other things. I
Hmm.
encourage them to figure out what it is that they
Yeah.
do. We were
Yeah.
we were some of the fortunate ones that our grief, as weird as it sounds, became the gift.
Hmm.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And once we start to tie ourselves into that gift, we begin to understand that our gift was not ours.
Hmm.
It belongs to the people that we serve.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out the demographic of people that you're serving.
Hmm.
And once you figure that out, your grief becomes more specific
Hmm.
and it lines you up
Yeah.
to do the things that you do. You have to be willing to let go things that you thought that you need, right?
Hmm.
And be able to accept those things that you didn't think that you needed.
Yeah.
As weird as it is,
Yeah.
because We are creatures of habit. We want to be safe,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
We
Yep.
want to be safe. So that we hold on to those things that make us safe, not understanding that if we're willing to let those things go, there's something else that's willing to replace it that's 100 times better than what you're holding on to.
Hmm.
So we get stuck. That's why people get stuck because they're not willing to let it go. And that's
Hmm.
fine too, because the more and more we do this work, the more and more people that we impact, the more and more people that we can help release that hold.
Hmm.
And if we can inspire them from our stories, and then that's what we're supposed to do, right? Because
Hmm.
once we get to that point, we realize that the biggest gift that we can give someone is to realize that what we do is not about us.
Hmm.
We are meant to for connection and community, but
Yeah.
also for those of us who have walked the path of healing, we're meant to share that knowledge with them so they too can start the healing process. And we're there to walk with them.
Hmm.
So it's yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, we've got a couple minutes left here. I would like for you to tell us a little bit about you have a podcast as well. I would like to hear about your podcast and your nonprofit and all the amazing things you do and where people can find you.
Of course. The podcast is called, this is my second podcast, but this podcast is called Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. I started this about 10 months ago, um, and as a substitute for my last one.
Hmm.
And pretty much I was following the same dynamic, wanted to meet some amazing people, wanted to
Hmm.
share these amazing stories because my motto is your story can become someone else's survival
Yes.
guide, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
So that's the reason why we do it.
Hmm.
Um, And then I had started the Global Grief Network. And so I was like, you know what? Let's educate people. I'm still going to do the 101s. I'm going to do that once a week, but let's do a panel discussion twice a month. You know what I'm saying? Bi-weekly. So we did. We started doing that topics and everything else. Turned out to be really, really good. Then all of a sudden one day, I went, you know what? I think everything I'm going to do is going to be live stream from this point
Okay.
on. So I started live streaming. People were like, are you crazy? What if you mess up? Hey, I mess up then. All
Yeah.
right. It's not going to do nothing to help me get better, but I want people to interact with us. Right. And so I started doing it. And we started having these interviews, and it was a lot of fun. And it began to grow and, having more amazing conversations, meeting some amazing people, sharing these stories but also educating people. Then I was like, you know what? I need to see where this goes, right?
Yeah.
So I went from doing that once a week to doing it almost every day now. And I'm not
Wow.
just doing it every day. I'm doing two, three, sometimes four a day,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
On
Whew.
top of the panel discussions, I do one in the morning on Saturdays and one in the afternoon. Then I just started a new segment called Let's Talk About It Wednesday. So on top of that, they told me to power that in there too, right? You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So my,
Jeez.
my guests come in and go, hey, I want to talk about this. I'm like, yeah, let's come on and do it. We're going to put it on Wednesday. Yes, let's do it. And then I just started a new segment this month on it where I'm talking with couples that have lost children. And so there's a whole group of series that I'm doing up until around August, September, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so that's just that part, right? Which I do it because I have fun. I definitely
Good.
have, right? And people are like, aren't you tired? I'm like, no, actually, I'm not.
Yeah. If you
Every
love
time
what
I
you
come
do,
on,
you never get tired of it.
you never get tired, right? Yeah, I'm not working. I'm playing. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a blast. Um, but then it's my nonprofit Memories of Us, that has gone good. It went international a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And so I have 17 different satellite locations nationwide. I have 12 different satellite locations internationally. Um, and so, I'm doing support groups. I got different languages that is being done so
Wow.
these individuals check in with me. I'm building a huge network with the
Hmm.
with the Global Grief Network of resources of grief workers, mental health practitioners,
Hmm.
trauma recovery coaches, where, if we have them in one spot, people can go in and find something that's going to work with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have partners that I'm partnered with, the International Deaf League movement. Let's see, Hope Kits. We got um, Grief to Hope. We got Grief Tribe Men. And, like all these different organizations that I'm working with across the board. So it feels good to take um, something that you wouldn't think could have this sort of impact,
Mm-hmm.
give birth to it, and just let it develop and grow and see where it goes. Because my goal is when I leave this place, I want to set the bar so high for the things that I do that the next person comes in, sees this, and go, Tony, I see you. I see what you've done. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to do so much better than you. And I say, and I challenge anyone to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see me put it up here? I'm doing it because I want to inspire you to do better than me.
Yeah.
Jeez, come after me, surpass me. Come on. You want to get out there and do great. Hey, you see what I'm doing? Yeah, do better than me. I
Mm-hmm.
challenge you, right? So
Yeah.
that's my it's like a game for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if you can catch me. Let's see. I want to inspire you to catch me. Come on, let's do it, right?
Yeah.
Because we're only here for a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure that we're setting a path for other people to follow. So we have to do better. We have to leave this place better than what we leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus,
Yeah.
on top of that, I want to leave a legacy. I
Mm-hmm.
want what I have and everything that I've done that someone can pick up where I left off and take it to the next level.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not asking for anything. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it without expectations. I'm doing it in a sense of I'm a child. I'm a child in this world. And I want others to explore their child, their inner
Yeah.
child too,
Yeah.
their spirit. Let it grow.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy this world and have the best human experience that you possibly can
Yeah.
have, but make an impact.
Yes.
Make an
Yes.
impact.
Oh.
And so people can find my YouTube channel. The Grief Let's Talk About It podcast is on YouTube. They just tune in, and once they do that, they can see everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to share it around if that's something that they want. As far as the nonprofit, I had to reconstruct my website because it got hacked. So
Oh no.
yeah, it got hacked. So I'm reconstructing it, not a problem. But people can still find me on Facebook as Memories of Us. People can find me on Instagram as Men's Grief Support. They can find me on LinkedIn as Tony Lynch as well. I've got a lot of great things going on over there as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
I just person wants to drop in. I don't ask for anything.
Yeah.
Just come and tell me what you think, and hopefully you can get something from the knowledge that I put out.
Yeah. Awesome. And I'll put links to all this in the show notes for people listening so you can just click right there and get to Tony immediately. Well,
I appreciate
Tony,
that.
it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your story and telling us your journey and sharing that. And like you said, I hope that somebody can take this and this can be their growing experience. This can be their way out of where they are. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Thank you again so much to Tony for coming on the show, and thank you to all of you for tuning in this week. Don't forget, you can find me on Patreon at Nikki the Death Doula, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Nikki the Death Doula. You can find Tony at the links I will put in the description, but if you go to YouTube and find Grief, Let's Talk About It, and you can find him on Facebook for Memories of Us. Again, all those links will be in the description. And if you want to watch the video of Tony and I having our conversation, he's such a lovely man, you can find that at patreon.com/Nikki the Death Doula. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing week. And remember, as always, your grief is yours, your feelings are valid, and grief doesn't always have to suck.